Greetings, YouTube. Send in the clones. I was reading an article today, written back in the 1970s, that dealt with the first research done in recombinant DNA. And one of the aspects of the research that caused a big brouhaha amongst the communities that these labs were set in was cloning. Now, cloning has always kind of confused me in the public theater. People always seem to get really upset when you talk about cloning. And I think it's all based on misconceptions. Cloning is completely natural. Cloning's been going on since there was cellular life on this planet. It happens every minute of every day, everywhere. Now, artificial cloning, that done by humans, is fairly new. Its biggest applications are in the horticultural field. We see it in livestock, and now even seeing it in both pets and in search and rescue dogs. I know recently that they've cloned a particularly good search and rescue dog so that they would have an entire team of them as opposed to just one. This is a really cool idea. But whenever you broach the topic of cloning, people instantaneously leap to the cloning humans fear. And I've never fathomed why it's a fear. What about cloning a human scares people? Twins and triplets are completely natural, and while not perfect clones, they're darn close. Close enough that your average person cannot tell them apart. Well, I'm talking about identical clones and identical twins and triplets, obviously. And they've been going on for as long as our species has been in existence. People are fascinated by them. Look at the Olsen twins. They're freaks of nature, man. Didn't need science for that. And people love them. They can't get enough of them. And yet when you start talking about artificial cloning, people start to freak out. I was thinking about this at work last night. And I think part of it is that people are worried about the loss of their identity. That if there's more than one of them, somehow that lessens, devalues their humanity. But if you ask a twin, they feel that their life is worth less because they have a twin. First of all, they're probably going to be really insulted. They'll probably laugh at you. And they're going to tell you no, because they're individuals. It's important to remember that if right this second we had the ability to clone a human being, and as far as I'm aware, we do not have this technology yet, that's going to end up as a fetus, carried to term, delivered as a baby, and that's what the clone's going to be. It's going to be human infant, which will then be raised just like every other human infant, which means it's going to have completely different experiences than the person it was cloned from. They're not going to be the same person. This stuff right here, this is just meat. This is the shell we wear. Who we are, who our minds are, our spirit, those are unique. They can't be cloned. They can't be copied. So a person, even if they were genetically identical to someone else, is not going to be that same person. We are so far away from infant adult clones that it's pure science fiction. And even if you could pull that off, from the moment that cloning came into the world, it would begin to diverge from its original. You would have two separate people. They'd be very similar, and they'd be no more similar than a set of twins. So if anybody who ever sees this could tell me if they know why people are afraid of clones, human clones, I'd be thrilled. Because it's never made any sense to me. Because my identity is not tied up to my body. I mean, I know transgender people who have a completely different spirit and mind than the body that nature gave them. And they go out of their way to make sure that that body changes over time, at least in appearance, so that it matches who they are in their heart. And I fully endorse their right to do that. So if people can separate themselves, who they are, from what they are, I don't see why cloning would ever be considered a fear. You aren't your body. You are who you are. Always will be. Your mind and your spirit are yours.